Hello, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your incredible leadership and dedication in this moment. I'm so grateful to you and your team on the staff of the Education and Labor Committee, and to our participatory colleagues on the other side of the aisle. This meeting has been informative and of great benefit to the American people. As you know, Mr. Chairman, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. This pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, has hit Michigan and my congressional district particularly hard. And COVID-19 has taken the lives of nearly 3,700 Michiganders, and it has decimated our economy in just a matter of weeks. Cities like Livonia, Michigan are hotspots. This virus is in our nursing homes, and it is now a public health priority of the highest kind about how we protect and ensure everyone's safety. And this is one of the things that we recognize as with paid family leave, and why paid family leave is so crucial right now. We cannot ask Americans to choose between their paycheck, their health, and the health of those around them. In middle March, I was proud to be a part of passing the Families First Coronavirus Response Act in a bipartisan, bicameral way that was signed into law that expanded workers' paid sick and family leave. But I too was crestfallen that we didn't have the chance to do hearings or have all the input that we would have liked to, although the circumstances demanded that we act quickly. The floor was closed during that period, and the floor of the House has largely been closed for several months. And I also find this concerning and unfortunate, and looking forward to the day in which we can operate and speak from the well of the House of Representatives, the most sacred space in our democracy, on behalf of our constituents. I believe that we need to continue to look into paid family leave. People were qualified for paid family leave, but we are not hearing that people are getting access to it. And my mantra throughout this entire pandemic, since it was declared, was that we are not going to let you fail, that no one is allowed to fail right now, and that we are going to do everything it takes to keep you safe. But that said, we need to make sure that we understand who is qualifying for paid family leave and who isn't, and look towards expanding it. We're looking to our essential workers and to all people who are going to be one day going back to work, and making sure that they can prioritize their health and safety, and those who are in their homes. Like many of my colleagues, Mr. Chairman, I am concerned about how we are going to restart our economy and support Michigan families in the long term, while we continue to do the prioritizing of safety and health for all. Childcare is also essential for America's workforce. Parents cannot return to work without child care for their children, as my colleague, Congressman Bonamici, discussed, with more than 2/3 of American families with children under the age of 6 dependent on child care. Child care facilities must concurrently be up and running alongside the first phase of the reopening of the economy. Because they have been shuttered, they have lost revenues. Those incredible child care workers have been without jobs and paychecks, and this is a problem, and liquidity is a real consideration for us. I have heard from many constituents who are struggling to return to work because they cannot find child care, and unfortunately, many child care providers have experienced what I was just discussing, an approximate 75% drop in attendance due to state and local stay-at-home orders, resulting in closure of about 75 or 65% of programs. In fact, some of the largest providers have experienced an 85 to 90% decline in enrollment. So we've got to look this in the face, because I've heard they have till June. And if we're going to open up, we've got to do so safely. We've got to do so rightly, and recognizing that childcare is very important. And sir, we thank you and the staff of the Education and Labor Committee for their efforts to expand and make childcare affordable for all. And we're so proud of this committee's jurisdiction on affordable childcare. As we look to CARES 2 or additional legislation to combat coronavirus and ameliorate the economic effects, we also should look at the impacts across all industries and workforces and discuss responsible actions for how to secure critical industries and jobs and the real estate assets that exist on Main Street and are critical to public safety and thriving neighborhoods, just as we ensure that our country still manufactures goods, and particularly for those of us in Michigan, automobiles. We must place trust and patience in the science and the ability to collaborate and not create false villains among us. This is what I found when I called Michigan's grocery stores, which was my first call when this pandemic hit, that employers and employees were working together to create a safe and constructive environment. We do need to push for these standards. We do need to pass the Stevens-Pappas bill on essential worker protections, to create an interagency task force led by the Department of Labor, so that we can have these worker protections coming in real time through the Department of Labor in partnership with the CDC and FDA. This costs no money. It will help along with the safety standards that we're pushing forward with your work, Mr. Chairman. And finally, it is absolutely essential, and we thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your great patience. You're a pillar of that on this committee. But it is absolutely essential that we protect our retirees, those who continue to be left behind from recoveries of past. Retirees' benefits by addressing the multi-employer pension crisis and forthcoming coronavirus legislation. This was left over from the last recovery. It is something we need to do. It passed the House in bipartisan fashion. And as we dole out these trillions of dollars to ameliorate the economic effects, we cannot leave behind our retirees and the multi-employer pension. So just yesterday, I sent a bipartisan letter to you, Mr. Chairman, and to other leaders like Chairman Neal of the House Ways and Means Committee, Speaker Pelosi, and Minority Leader McCarthy, people who have been paying attention to this issue, obviously those on our side who have been incredible champions, urging a fix to our struggling pension plans that are being put under further strain from this pandemic. We cannot let our retirees down. We cannot let the American people fail. And I stand by you, ready to protect our workers and families and older adults as we continue combating this invisible enemy together. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to my colleagues. And thank you to everyone who remains dedicated to organized labor, those who are standing on the front line, protecting the safety of every single hardworking individual. Thank you, and I yield back.